Vaush, I beg you, play Terraria Calamity. I don't like mods. Also, I've put too many hours in Terraria as it is. Little dumb to dismiss Calamity because it's a mod when most of it is on par with main game content. Can you not every time? Can I just have my opinion? Unironically, Vaush does not believe that anything players add into a game is as valuable or experience-worthy as the designers. No, I just like congruity of experience. That's the reason why I don't like mods as much. It has nothing to do with the quality of the content. It's about congruity of experience. I like the shared social element of playing a game, so when I talk or think about playing a game, I want to think of it in like the, you know, oh yeah, we all played the same game kind of thing. I want to experience the artistic intent of the creator, not because I think it's necessarily superior to anything that a mod added to the game, but rather because I like engaging with it in that context. That's it. It's not like a hardliner zealous opinion. I'm not running out there saying like, I won't even play the original System Shock with mods. I'll accept crashes every 48 seconds because I don't want to change the original developer's intent by fixing some bugs that now pop up in the modern release of game. Like, come on, try to engage with my opinions with a modicum of good faith and not just like instantly jumping to the most insane interpretation possible. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that explanation made no sense to me. Yeah, that's because you're not that's because you're not currently using your noggin, the Psycho Renegade, okay? I don't think anything about, like, my explanation was not especially difficult to follow, okay? I think it was pretty straightforward. I also tend to dislike that about games that have too much downloadable content, where they start to have so much downloadable content where it's like, are we even playing the same game anymore, you know? That's fair, but Bethesda games have a different vibe where you can trade mods with your friends. Well, yeah, I mean, Bethesda games are unique in that they're absolute dog shit, so mods are the only ways that anyone wants to play them. The reason why I'm brave and bold with my Skyrim sucks take is because I put 300 hours into it vanilla, okay? You motherfuckers are like, oh, you think Skyrim sucks? Well, have you considered that if you add in the unpaid labor of like thousands of people and the hundreds of thousands of hours that it becomes a slightly better game with really bad bones? Yeah, have you considered that Skyrim isn't that bad if you make an entirely new game that isn't Skyrim? The problem with Vaush in video games is that it always feels like there's a level of artsy-fartsy pretentiousness to it. Two-bit dork, the fact that you would use that term to describe my opinions on video games suggests to me that you have an infantile mindset and you don't think of video games as art. I'm sorry, but I'm not lowering myself to your standard. Maybe for you, it's like a funny, haha, key-jingling toy to occupy your mind from cradle to grave. I think that they're pieces of art worthy of artistic criticism, you know? Maybe I've played enough shooters. Maybe I've played enough games where it's cool that the big bang goes bang. Maybe I want to play a game that makes me feel something, you know? Hey, what is this stream supposed to be about? The Psycho Renegade, now it's about bullying you. You think you can just walk away from your bad opinions that easily? Hey, go whistle, whistle. Can't whistle. Not very good at whistling. You know? Oh man, we're talking about video games? How'd that happen? What are we talking about here, huh? That's the thing. People want Vaush to have the same opinions as them, or at least affirm their opinions. Yeah, I think sometimes I feel like people only care about reviews that affirm their opinions and not about ones that offer an interesting perspective, I guess. I mean, like, the video game review industry is basically dead anyway, right? Like, no one, you know, you get, like, video essays that delve into it after the fact, 6 years after the game came out, like, in retrospect, or, you know, a brief retrospective on X game, and it's 7 hours long. But the actual, like, at-the-moment game review industry, no one gives a shit. They're just out there to throw, like, 7.5, 7.8s. He talking about H-Bomb? H-Bomb is not the only one who does video game retrospectives. Also, we love H-Bomb here. We do love H-Bomb here. That is true. Still alive. Thanks to the 10 bucks. I think you were right in the money with the parasocial thing in regards to people getting salty over your media takes, honestly. They mistake you for being their personal friend or something, I suppose. Well, I just think that, I don't want to talk it up too much. It's not about disagreeing or agreeing with me. I think it's cool to disagree with me on an opinion that I have. It's just that so often people will hear me state an opinion and they will act like I'm attacking them, and I don't get it. I don't get it. You'll know when I'm attacking you. It's not like I'm shy and insulting people. This is not like, this stream is not known for its attitude of insincere civility, you know, the atmosphere. I'll make the call when I make the call. Jared, the $5. I wouldn't say the review industry is dead. It's just good reviews come from independent channels instead of big sites. Yeah, but even then, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you look, I guess. There's always good stuff out there. What you said earlier about single-player games being in demand still reminded me that Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best-selling games of all time. Can I hit you guys with a real-ass take that's cold, but nonetheless you need to hear it? No artist wants to make a fucking live service multiplayer game. None of them want to. Those decisions are all made by management and by investors because they want to hit big. What artist with their own dream and vision wants to have that vision distilled down into like weekly content drip in some shitty multiplayer fucking like so people can argue about balance changes until the end of time? That's their artist's vision? No. These decisions are made by executives. Artists want usually to make single player games, you know? I'm speaking generally, but also I'm completely correct. Is that a hot take? No, I said it's a cold take. I specifically said it's a cold take. Artists want to make games about walking around an empty zone for 4 hours reading 1,000 diary notes left by your girlfriend who was dead the whole time. I feel like I feel like walking simulators left traumatic brain damage on the minds of a great many gamer. I don't think it's much of a thing anymore. I don't think they ever really were. You know? A lot of them got a lot of like hate attention. There were a few so-called walking simulators that got positive attention. I mean, you've got really good ones. There's like Dear Esther, the Diary of Edith Finch. You know, there are some really, really, really good ones. But in terms of like the plague of them, I don't know. Right now, the plague that I'm experiencing is roguelike deck builders. Get me out of this fucking nightmare. Roguelike deck builders. It won't stop. Holy shit. You're not Slay the Spire. Let it be. Walking simulators were praised by journalists because they could actually play them. All right, I'm going to do it. You want the impossible from games journalists. Okay? Now that every game is like a 200-hour-long slog, RPG elements everywhere, live service model, no one can play a game fast enough to get a review out in the expected time frame. You know? It's like, oh my god, a breath of fresh air. You know? A walking sim, I can knock this shit out in 2 hours. Okay. At least you can finish the damn game. It's not even just journalists being bad at video games. And also, gonna be real here, isn't it fair for games journalists to be kind of bad at video games if you want a fair assessment of the quality of a video game? If you're good enough at video games that you're topping out these journalists, you have your own standards and criteria for getting into gaming, right? Like, you know, if you're out here like gold starring Doom Eternal on Nightmare, you don't need games journalists to tell you what you're into. You know what you're into. You're already in the sauce. But it's a big, big industry. You know, I feel like these outlets are more for offering opinions on stuff that maybe the average person might want to get into. And the average person kind of sucks at video games. In general, but also at video games. A Steam review will give you way more insight than a game journalist article? Maybe. Most Steam reviews are pretty soy, though. You always get the same shit at the top of the checklist, you know? You'll get, like, 6,000 hours played, bad game, thumbs up, or that checklist they do: graphics stellar, replayability medium, overall pretty good. Or someone will do like an in joke from the game and the top review, and that gets the top and it offers you no information. Or you get people complaining about bugs that got patched 8 hours after the game released, but people upvote the negative review because they're like, oh, this game's broken, but it already got fixed, so it's like right there. Yeah, I don't know. It's all pretty bad. I think the real problem with playing games is that we have too many options, you know? We're kind of spoiled for choice. You're always thinking like, well, could I be having a theoretically better experience? Or you think of everything in tropes, like, oh, well, this is the specific kind of game that I want to play, so I'm going to specifically search for that. The best art that you experience is stuff you didn't see coming, right? You know? Undertale didn't pop off because people were like, I want a deeply touching and emotional retro Earthbound style RPG with 8-bit graphics, bullet hell gameplay, a big soundtrack, and meta narrative elements. You know, it just kind of like blew up. Yeah, the tropification of media. It's like that book talk thing that I complained about, where people are specifically looking for books that have like, you know, certain kinds of stuff in it. It's like, I don't, you're hamstringing yourself artistically. You're limiting your soul. People were really mad about that book talk thing. The more the algorithm gets good at serving you content that you already know you like, the less you grow as a person, you know? For a lot of you, I'm calling it. I'm hitting your little death bell. You stopped growing at 17. You already decided what you like, and you're comfortable in the algorithms that you've been served, and you are not going to grow as a person. Time will freeze for you, and when you're 43, you'll look back and not remember a moment of the past 26 years, you know? I think that it's probably good in this era of basically limitless information and media that you can consume to try to keep an open mind and try to like experience new things and go out there and care and be surprised by stuff that's new. I think it's good. Pretty sure there's been studies that show most people don't find new music. They just listen to whatever they were listening to up until their 20s. Well, I never listened to anything, so I'm defying the trend yet again. But yeah, no, I get you. You also described all of anime waifu obsession, only caring about archetypes than the actual world building and character development. Well, yeah, anyone who uses the term waifu is already in a state of arrested development and probably, like, yeah, already a little bit cooked.